Welcome back to another episode of Product Marketing Masters. Today for our guest, we have Naushad Parpia, who is the CEO and founder of both Plative and Earthside Farms. Naushad, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
So just to kind of hop right into it, one of the main purposes of our podcast is to talk to strategic leaders and find out how AI it's been a lot of hype, right? So we want to see how it's been effective in, the industry now. And so in your experience, how has AI evolved, in the tech industry and the management platform industry in 2025?
Yeah, the speed of rate of change for AI has been amazing and faster than what people are probably used to in terms of tech changes, faster than SaaS. And it's hard to sometimes keep up of all the things that AI can do. Right. But it's been great. I think right now AI has basically increased productivity, reduced manual tasks, made the ability to get information much easier. And I think that's just the beginning. As from the next couple of years, I think it's going to be evolving even more in terms of processes, how it can be ingrained more and more into the organization, where AI can learn for itself, ingraining itself in the organization. Right now, you have to teach and tell AI what to do, and cuts down on the manual tasks and gets you information much easier. But I think that's just the beginning, and I'm excited to see what's coming up in the next couple of years as well. AI continues to evolve.
No, and I think that's a great point. Automation has jumped huge in the last year. How are you guys leveraging AI right now in your company?
Yeah, absolutely. So basically, one of the ways we're doing it, Plative is a consulting organization. So I'll give you a quick example. We have AI join every call, and what we have is essentially recording the call, and anytime the call does not go well, quote unquote, for any reason with a client, it basically publishes a sentiment score onto a Slack channel that all the managers and executives have access to, and gives you a brief overview as to why the call didn't go well, et cetera, et cetera. So that's a leading indicator that we can act upon very easily, versus back in the day, we would have to rely on the consulting team to tell us, hey, client's not happy with us, or raise a flag. Here, they don't have to tell us. We already know as to what's going on, and able to ensure the success of the client way before anything goes wrong. It's like a great leading indicator. Back in the day, sometimes people didn't bubble issues or didn't realize there were any issues. Clients sometimes are too afraid to tell you that things like projects are going well. And sometimes the consultants don't really read between the lines, or are too junior to really understand the client's unhappy. AI is not. And so we're able to catch that really easily and ensure client success much more than ever before, and get on top of it as a leading indicator. So that's one example as how we use AI. And second is our project managers are able to, create status reports, burn down reports, forecasts very easily through AI, before they spend all of Friday just creating that report for the clients. Now they can focus on managing the project versus administrative tasks like creating reports. And with a click of a button, generates it and allows us to send it to a client. So those are two specific examples of how we are using AI within an organization to make our team more efficient and effective.
It sounds like both a huge time saver and a lifesaver.
Yeah, it really is.
Now, when you say on some of those bad calls, when the customer's not happy or they're too, polite to tell your sales rep kind of what's going on, how has AI been able to combat that for you?
AI can read between the lines, right? AI could tell you exactly why they're not happy, what the reason behind it, can ask and, deeper dive into the questions. It allows us to coach our people, honestly. It's a people business. People will make mistakes. People are always learning and growing. So it allows us, the managers, to have an opportunity to coach and mentor, so that our people keep improving every single day. So it tells you how it is, right? If a call went well or not, in that specific example, use case.
That makes perfect sense. And I know, especially with strategizing, business strategies and kind of moving forward, one of the waves that we've seen people use AI has been, doing win-loss analysis and gathering competitive intel. Has that been something that you guys have delved into as well?
Sure, yeah. So we created this agent inside Slack, and that connects to all our platforms like Salesforce, Google Drive, Tableau, accounting platform, everything essentially. So we could literally, type on Slack, like a sales manager could go on Slack and say, hey, give me a report on our this month's win loss analysis. I will tell you the data and tell you why we lost the deal, what we could have done better. So I think it just allows managers and even sales reps themselves to understand, find trends, right? Find trends as to why we're losing deals, what we could have done better, have more post-mortem analysis. And then as an executive, I can have access to that data really quickly without bothering anyone in the organization. Because I could just ask an AI agent, it'll give me the information within minutes, not
Yeah,
seconds.
that's awesome. That must really make it a lot easier for you to forecast and how you want to move forward with business stuff, right?
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah. And knowing what's in the pipeline, knowing how much pipeline we need to have to hit our target, our win close rate, how much lead generation we need to do if you're ahead, behind, identifying leading indicators and assessing how the month will be at the beginning of the month and how the quarter will be at the beginning of the quarter versus, being a guessing game, the forecast accuracy to predict the future of the business becomes a lot more easier and a lot more accurate.
No, and that makes perfect sense. As you've been an adopter of AI and all this, what would you say is one of the biggest upcoming challenges that a lot of leaders aren't prepared for yet?
I think the sentiment is people are afraid of the jobs, right? Like AI, that there's this fear that AI will be smarter than a human, which I think we'll get there eventually. So there is just people are afraid of what will happen to their jobs and careers. So I think for the leaders, it's important to time to lead and ensure that we're leading our people effectively. And we can't forget the people side of things, right? Because it's easy to forget that versus a humans versus a business side of things. So I think it's really important right now more than ever to have empathy for people and not make anyone feel replaceable, re-emphasizing the importance of the people in the organization, how important they are. So I think leaders need to keep leading, right? Not only by the numbers, people as well.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that empathy is a huge part of what's still needed, even when a lot of leaders are going more towards AI.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, another big topic about kind of AI right now is that improved efficiency, like you've been talking about. Do you think with those fears, like, are those fears valid? Are people going to start using AI to replace employees?
It's hard. I mean, I hope so. I hope that humanity one day will not have to work for work's sake to make a living, right? I think that's like the futuristic goal. We could do whatever we want. There's abundance mentality where there's abundance of everything and humans don't really need to work unless they want to. I hope we can get to a stage, but right now it seems scary and to get to that phase will be very painful because a lot of people identify with their jobs as a big part of the identity. And second, there's political and other forces that go against it, right? So I think I'm hopeful that one day humanity will not have to work unless they have, and then that machines can take over all things and there'll be more things than we ever need or want, and there'll be abundant mentality. So I think it will get there one day, but I think it'll be, there's many phases of that till we get to that utopian. It almost seems like a utopian state right now, but I'm hopeful that we can get there one day. It'd be awesome if you can, honestly.
I really like that vision that you've got there, Naushad. Just thinking about all the menial tasks I have waiting for me at home after work today. I'd love to have those automated.
Yeah, like a humanoid that's faster, smarter, and stronger than humans, right?
Mhm.
And the cost to make one becomes really cheap, and everyone has a couple of them with them, and like the ability to do anything, right? Make food, get groceries, drive your car. Like it's like a smarter, faster, stronger version of you, essentially, right? So imagine like people having that with them, and the ability or need to work to kind of goes away. That'd be kind of cool, I think.
Yeah, I like that.
Right? Yeah.
Uh,
So hopefully we can get there one day. Who knows?
Changing gears just a little bit. In your experience as a CEO and founder, what would you say is the biggest learning you've had during your career?
Oh man, I think biggest learning, sales cures all, right? In the organization, like I think that's the biggest learning. Sales cures all, creates great problems. It is essential to the success of any company. So that's my biggest learning.
And, I think also a big part of sales comes with customers, right? That's the whole point of sales, is to get customers. Do you guys use any customer feedback to help your sales outreach and positioning and strategies?
Yeah, we do quite a bit. So every single project, we have an automated CSAT score going out throughout the life cycle of projects. We're capturing feedback from the customer, and then we track like our NPS score in the organization. And we also let the entire team know an all hands call every month that we have with the organization, what our current CSAT is and feedback that we get and how we can keep improving. So customer feedback is very important. And then we have executive alignments with, our key clients as well, including myself, where we have monthly or quarterly meetings with key execs of our customers, ensure constantly getting feedback and improving as an organization.
And how do you guys effectively implement that feedback?
We essentially, I think there's a couple of things, like if there's a constant feedback that we're receiving, the same kind of feedback again and again, that's like, we need to action upon it. If it's a one-off feedback, we take with a grain of salt, right? Like, is it really, and then we ensure that we create it as a goal and create it as a metric and track against it. So if we can quantify anything and we can measure and manage it, do, and then find an owner for that initiative in the company and ensure that we're tracking against it on a weekly or monthly basis.
Oh, so it sounds like you guys are utilizing that feedback really effectively and quite consistently too.
You have to if you want to keep growing and keep getting better as a company. There's no way around. There's no other way around it.
And if you guys found like that, do you guys use AI to help evaluate that feedback?
Not really. There's not, like, it's pretty black and white. The feedback is usually, right? Like,
Sure.
you don't need, like, it doesn't take that much like analysis to understand and look at feedback. We don't really use AI for that aspect. We just it's usually black and white what the feedback is.
Yeah. Just kind of as a fun little side topic, has there been any really out there feedback that you guys have received that you just been like, didn't see coming at all?
Not necessarily, no. No, we haven't, thankfully. But again, with those kind of feedback, we do take a grain of salt, right?
Sure.
If someone tells you once, you're like, all right. If someone tells you the same thing 10 times, like 10 people telling the same thing, that's like a trend, right? So obviously those feedback go on the top in terms of urgency versus a one-off feedback where we understand the situation more, understand if it's valid and, validate it, and then prioritize it accordingly. Sometimes some feedback is not as urgent and some others feedback are very business critical. So prioritizing it, understanding the level of urgency is something also.
That makes perfect sense. I think evaluating that is super useful because, like you said, without trends, the feedback's kind of pointless a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
With everything kind of moving into 2026 here soon, if you had a magic wand, what's one thing that you would have to make your job easier?
Wow, that's a good question. To make my job easier, I wish we could hire people faster, right? Like, we're growing as an organization. I think sometimes finding the right people, even with AI, becomes still a challenge.
Sure.
And you would think right now, like, hiring would get easier. I think becomes more noisy with how, both on the employee side, because like if you're seeking a job, there's ways to automate it. And so you're just mass applying. And then from the employer side, we have to shift through a lot more resumes and paperwork to kind of like filter out candidates more. So it becomes, AI is actually, I think, in some ways right now is making recruiting harder, especially for smaller businesses who don't have the infrastructure as needed. So I think hopefully one way, 2026 will be easier if they can hire people faster, the right people.
Yeah. The ones that are going to help you move your business forward instead of weighing it down.
Yeah. Right people, right seats. Yeah.
Well, I got one last question for you, Nish. Sure. Arguably, I think it's the most important. But as we wrap up, what would you say is the most fulfilling part of being at Plative and, oh my goodness,
Earthside Farms?
Yes.
Yeah.
Or sorry.
No problem. I think business is a way to solve world's problems and helping people. So it's very, very rewarding to see your company, help people, right? Like that is what keeps me going. The impact that you have in the world through the world of business is very rewarding. Yeah. So I think that's like, to me, what keeps me going and why I love why I wake up is like, I'm impacting so many people, making their lives so many better, making so many people's lives better, so many organizations better. So I think it's always a great thing, stop and smell the flowers. And that's like my way of taking a step back and looking at the impact that it had and all the people and the organization, all the impact they're having as well.
And I love that. I think that's a very good, purpose field that you've found in your career. Well, I just wanted to say once again, Naushad, thank you so much for coming on the show, and I appreciate all the insights that
So
you've shared with us today.
had great being here. Thank you.